Good afternoon, welcome to ELL Plus with me, Jemima Childs.
And me, Malachi Fernandez. In this week's programme, Lewisham Council suspends its threat to make huge cuts to the borough's library services pending further review.
The Jericho Road project has held their annual Christmas feast for the homeless in Lewisham. A Goldsmith student has gone out of his way to give £500 worth of food and other essentials to homeless people across Lewisham.
Lewisham Council has backed down on its proposed cuts to the borough's library services. It says the planned £450,000 of cuts will be suspended pending a further review. But campaigners are concerned that the threat to the libraries still remains. Scott Clark reports.
Nearly 130 libraries closed across Britain last year. That's according to the annual survey released by the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy. In the United Kingdom, spending on libraries has decreased by nearly 4%. In Lewisham alone, the council has cut the budget for the borough's library services by around 14%. That would mean cutting the opening hours of a number of libraries in half, or relying on volunteers to keep the libraries open.
As everything now is online, there's less need for libraries.
I was a very keen library user, before the digital age, but in the digital age, I feel libraries aren't that important as they once were.
A group of local residents has set up the campaign group Save Lewisham Libraries. Their aim is to highlight the role played by library staff in supporting the community, cultural and educational events. Libraries also play a vital purpose, they say, in offering free access to computers, but more importantly, culture.
And if they close the library, there will be nowhere else for people like me and others to go to. You know what I'm saying? And if they cut the hours as well, we won't be able to speak to people who work in there. So it's best that they leave the time as it is and not to close the library because we need it.
Whenever we go to the library, it's not just the kids that are in there. There's always a real array of people who are in there researching or just reading. So I think it's, there aren't very many places left in a community where people can go where they don't have to spend money.
The library is a source of knowledge. You have loads of books there that make you, you read it, source of information, and it helps you better understand the way how things are. And I think a more educated community is a much more better informed community.
We tried to contact Lewisham Council, but did not get any response. In an effort to get a greater insight into a Lewisham library, we were told that the subject was too sensitive to comment on. Scott Clark, ELL Plus.
To further discuss the impact of the possible cuts, we are joined in the studio by Dr. Alice Koval, who is a representative of Save Lewisham Libraries.
Hello Dr. Koval, thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you.
In the clip we've just seen, members of the public are giving their opinions on whether they think libraries are losing their importance due to the digital age, as well as some that think that libraries are still important. What is your take on this?
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised to hear both those views. I've heard them a lot before. I think people who tend to argue that libraries aren't so important now are perhaps people who don't use libraries, and they might have the idea that libraries are just buildings with books in and therefore we don't need them so much. However, there's so much more than books. I mean, books are the cornerstone of what a library offers, but they're also a safe space. They're one of the only public spaces left free of commercial interest for people to go indoors. They offer a whole range of activities. The biggest users are young people between the ages of 16 and 25, and 1 in 4 people in Lewisham are under the age of 19. And so I always argue libraries are people and they're about connections between people, and it's the professional library staff that enable that.
Could you tell us a little bit about the current situation with Lewisham Libraries and what exactly Save Lewisham Libraries are doing to combat this?
Yes, so we've been doing a lot already in the last 2 months to challenge the £450,000 cuts that were proposed. that has resulted in them suspending the cuts, pending the idea of rebuilding Lewisham Library. We've got a lot of concerns about this. It might put the library at risk in the interim period. It could still impact on staff reductions, and it might result in a smaller library.
Thank you very much, Dr. Koval.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks. It's the time of year when most people are thinking about presents, family and celebrations. One organisation in Lewisham, however, is thinking about those who are really in need of some cheer. The Jericho Road project, run by volunteers, held its Christmas feast last night, offering well-needed food and support to those on the streets of London. Asa Hussein went to find out more.
The Jericho Road project in King Church in Catford has been helping the homeless for the last 17 years.
10 years ago we started what's called King's Christmas trees, where we sell Nordman fir trees, we ship them down from Scotland. The profit provides the meals for the entire year, and so we provide kind of 5,000 three-course meals out of the profits from the trees.
When I started we were averaging 60 meals a week, and now I aim to have 120 meals ready every Wednesday. And one of the most important things volunteers do is just sit at the table with the people who come and talk to them and listen to them.
Obviously we have the kitchen here as well, which is the key part of the evening. Many have been coming to the feast for years. Some have just been people that have come to the feast and then got involved in volunteering. Some of our residents, people from homeless, rough sleeping backgrounds, to come and get involved, work in a team. A great sense of community gathering together, supporting each other. But the feast is also about celebration.
It's not just about giving food for one night, even though it is well received. The team here also focus on the long-term problem by offering advice and support that will hopefully get many of the people here off the streets for good.
There are three reasons we do the trees. One is to raise money. Secondly is to raise awareness of homelessness issues. Some of the challenges people face, whether it's immigration, whether it's benefits, health issues, we try and highlight those to our customers. And thirdly, it's about getting some of unemployed people back into a meaningful project.
Gathering like this is what gives us hope that social solidarity still exists. It assures us the Christmas spirit and giving is very much alive, and there's a warm home for everyone for one night. Asa Hussein, King's Church.
And with a roundup of the local news, here's Rebecca Rimcute. Hi.
A forum has taken place to explore ways of offering more support to refugees living in Lewisham. The event was organised by Voluntary Action Lewisham, which provides services to refugees such as English classes, career services and legal assistances. According to Lewisham Council, there are 73 refugees in the area, most of them from Syria and Iraq. A lack of funds may further delayed plans for Crossrail 2. The train station in Dalston Junction and Dalston Kingsland would be the main stop for the new North London to South London link. According to TfL report obtained by the Financial Times, the project might not be completed until 2043. Workers of the London-based pub chain Antics staged a protest outside the Job Centre pub in Deptford on Friday. They have asked for double pay or time and a half for workers working Christmas Eve and Boxing Day, but their claim has been turned down. Back to you, Jemima.
Stay with us at ELL+.
We will be back after the break. A group of 12 Muslim women have come together to celebrate art, poetry and photography in Hackney. The exhibition was created to challenge some of the misconceptions about Islam, art and women. Beck Ryman reports.
Islamic art has been expanding since the 7th century. Starting in the Middle East, these prints and patterns have found their way to East London. Hackney has become a vibrant hotspot for diversity, a place to celebrate a mixture of cultures and backgrounds. 12 ladies have come together to challenge common misconceptions of Islamic women. The exhibition Manifesting the Unseen is taking place at Guest Projects, a pioneering gallery offering free project space to any creative for up to 1 month. Testing the grounds for new thoughts and actions, this became a place to confront misunderstandings about Muslim women.
I hope it's influential to women artists, Muslim women, women in general. So on every layer, I hope it has an impact, because we don't live in our little isolated bubbles of our demographic. We live in a really mixed world. And I often think, you know, when I look at the cross-section of people in a workshop, it's many ages, many backgrounds, Muslim, non-Muslim, everything, and it has a positive impact on all of them. And so if in capturing that you have positive impact on, say, the Muslim girls, of the you know, younger ones, 18 to 25, that is superb. But I think it's bigger than that, because art connects with people, you know, beyond these sort of kind of circles and bubbles that we put ourselves in, definitely.
A nationwide survey led by the polling agency IPOS Mori found young Muslims are becoming more liberal. Under 29-year-olds' views are changing, with 80% having a more accepting attitude towards homosexuality and diverse friendships and relationships. East London takes pride in diversity, from Hackney Art Galleries to Goldsmiths University, which has a total of 38.1% of BME students compared to the national average of higher education institutions of just 33%. The Mayor of London has also said he wants to pull out all the stops to improve ethnic diversity in London. He went on to say the arts has the potential to completely transform the future of BME young people. Beck Ryman, ELL.
Christmas is of course a very busy time for high street shops, but in recent years the high street has suffered because of competition from online retailers. Our reporter Tom Parker is in New Cross Shopping Centre.
Yeah, hi guys, how are you doing?
Hi Tom, how are you? Tell us what's going on.
Well, yeah, it's this time of year, and while most people might be celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, with, again, online sales completely decimating that on the high street, Christmas could be known for the death of the high street. The number of people that go to high street shops has fallen at its greatest rate since the recession. Most people blame Black Friday, but how can we really blame one day of the year when actually it's society's convenience on a quick fix solution that really only allows for online? But there may be one saviour. You can forget three wise men. There is one Englishman by the name of Mike Ashley. Now, the Sports Direct owner has actually bought a controlling stake in House of Fraser with the hope of wooing more customers through its doors. He won't, however, be relying on gold, frankincense and myrrh. No, instead is his track record of turning businesses around. And I'm quite glad that someone's standing up for the high street shop, because if you're like me, I leave my Christmas shopping really late. So the more shops that are open late on a Christmas Eve so I can dash in there and do all of my shopping is going to save my bacon. Well, I hope that happens, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tom. A counselling service which offers support for carers in South London is under threat. Carers in Lewisham have launched an emergency fundraising appeal to keep its free service open. Eliza Ketcher went to Lewisham to find out more.
A safe haven for some of South London's most vulnerable people. Carers Lewisham has provided community support in the local area for 30 years.
Good afternoon, welcome to Carers Lewisham. How can we help?
Lack of funds means that the free counselling service, on which so many depend, may be scrapped in the new year. With many carers suffering with mental health issues, what exactly would happen if crucial help was cut?
I think that a lot of people would have more mental health issues. A lot more carers would literally be struggling. We would have more carers, I think, becoming alcoholics and drug abusers, because the only way they would be able to cope is taking the illegal substances. We would have a lot of carers maybe committing suicide.
The centre runs various programmes for carers and their families, allowing them to come and share their experiences with others like themselves. A main figurehead of the campaign, Hannah Mould has lived in Lewisham her whole life. She is urging people to help save the centre from crisis.
Any donations, whether that's personal donations or putting on a fundraising activity, which can be really good fun, all of that money will go to support people in your community.
Carers UK predicts that in 20 years' time, there will be 9 million carers in the UK. With an ageing population and the number of people requiring care on the rise, pressures are set to escalate. Here in Lewisham, many volunteers are already planning on spending much of the Christmas period at work to continue fundraising. But with over £10,000 to raise by the end of January, festive celebrations may have to wait. Eliza Ketcher for East London Lights.
Here is Sophia Sue with the sports news. Hello, Sophia.
Hello.
Hi.
Crystal Palace lost 3-2 against West Ham United on Saturday.
Despite taking the lead within 6 minutes, the game was held at London Stadium and West Ham's victory gives it another 3 points in the Premiership. In the FA Women's Championship, Charlton FC won comfortably last Sunday against Lewes. They are in second place behind Manchester United Tottenham in the fourth place after winning 1-0 against Crystal Palace. The under-23 game between Crystal Palace and Bristol City was held on Monday. Conor Wickham overhead kick leveled the scores in the second half before the striker was sent off for a second book ball offence. The match ended in a draw. And that's the sports news. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Sophia. Thank you. A Goldsmiths University of London student has single-handedly saved his own money to put together care packages for homeless people sleeping rough. Chloe Collins goes out to cover his remarkable gesture.
With temperatures dropping and Christmas only a few weeks away, one particular student took it upon himself to do a good deed for those that need it most. Mansour Ahmad, inspired by the Christmas joy his own family brings and the deep generosity to give back to the community, he prepared over 31 bags of food and necessities such as toothpaste, socks, and blankets to individually hand out to those sleeping rough on the streets.
I was keenly interested to do something for homeless people because I have seen many people sleeping on the street and asking for food. And I thought, if we spend a lot of money on ourselves, why not we do something a little bit for them as well on this Christmas? So this idea came into my mind to help the people. One day my sister told me she got some boxes at home for the children and her children put money every day. So I decided to collect some money and put every day 50p into them. So after a few months, I got £500 for homeless people.
According to Charity Shelter, more than 300,000 people in Britain are homeless, with Lewisham ranked 12th amongst the 20 outer London boroughs. However, that didn't stop Mansour Aman from gathering his friends to help him spread the joyful spirit.
So I thought of this initiative to help homeless people and distribute packets with daily necessities and warm clothing, and it's also Christmas season, so we should share our happiness with them.
The act of showing gratitude and compassion for those less fortunate truly reminds us why we call it the most wonderful time of the year, because
it's Christmas time, a time for giving, but sometimes we forget about those in need. It's people like Mansour who show us selfish acts of kindness to give back to those who need food and shelter during this time of year. He shows us what Christmas really means. Chloe Collins, East London Lines.
That's it for now. Thank you for joining us and have a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year. We'll see you next year on ELL Plus.